Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. It's that time again. One more time, people. The alphabet of awesome movies is here. And we have come to the end of the line. We have Y and we have Z. Didn't think it was going to make it this far, but I had faith it would. So here we are at the end of this long journey that we've taken together. Started by the infamous Dyslexic Nick. And to you, sir, I say thank you for such an awesome idea. I've had a lot of fun doing this. Almost kind of sad to see it come to an end. Let's kick this off with the selection for the letter Y. I have stated in the past that I'm not a huge fan of Westerns, but I do like some, and this is one of them. Young Guns. Great action flick, great Western, great ensemble. To me, it just keeps my interest. And that's what's important about a movie, is that it keeps me interested and keeps me entertained. Emilio Estevez, Kiefer Sutherland, Lou Diamond Phillips, and Charlie Sheen, among others, are a part of this ensemble. Jack Palance does a turn in it as the rancher Murphy. And Emilio Estevez's role as Billy the Kid was just awesome. Certain people have brought certain characters to Westerns that were just extraordinary. One such person would be Val Kilmer, playing Doc Holliday in Tombstone. For me, also, it is Emilio Estevez playing Billy the Kid. His whole persona was just excellent. The movie basically takes place in New Mexico in 1878. There's a rancher named Turnstall who has a ranch, who has wayward gunslingers and fighters stay there, but he tries to educate them, tries to make them better people, teaches them to read and such. He's in competition, with Murphy, because he's also a rancher. They're both ranchers. They both sell cattle. And Turnstall is gunned down by Murphy's men. Because one of those men happens to be the sheriff, the judge can't do anything about it, but the lawyer in charge of the case convinces him to deputize the guys who work for Turnstall to serve warrants and to arrest them, bring them to justice. Well, that well-laid plan kind of goes south real fast, because instead of arresting them, Billy the Kid, as he gets called later, has other things in mind. He wants revenge. He wants payback. So instead of arresting them, he guns them down as he finds them, and then serves them with their warrant. In turn, they become legends. They become folk heroes because they feel that they are fighting injustices. The people praise them as such, but they're also hunted down as outlaws because of their murderous ways. One of the standout scenes is when they do the spirit walk. Lou Diamond Phillips, who plays Chavez, is Indian, and he cooks up some peyote so that they can do a spirit walk, so they have visions, so they can see where to go. Well, he's having his spirit walk while everybody's basically tripping their ass off and talking to their horses and hunting invisible chickens, and it's quite a sight to behold. An excellent movie, just for the fact that it has some good action scenes, good shootout scenes, very entertaining. And for that, I pick Young Guns as my selection for my Y title. And now, I almost want to prolong it so it doesn't come to an end, but all good things must. So for my Z title, it is the classic Lucio Fulci's Zombie. This cannot be denied as being one of Fulci's greatest movies. Most people who are familiar with Fulci, that's probably the first title that comes to mind. Some people want to be different and say City of the Walking Dead, aka The Gates of Hell, but for me it's always going to be Zombie. This movie was shot as an unofficial sequel to Dawn of the Dead, and which caused a lot of confusion because the Italian release of Dawn of the Dead, the title was Zombie, Z-O-M-B-I. So when Lucio Fulci made his movie, he released it as Zombie 2, Z-O-M-B-I 2, because it's an unofficial sequel. But when it was released here in the United States, it went under the title Zombie, Z-O-M-B-I-E, which is what I just showed you. The confusion came about later when they tried to release the Italian, I guess the Italian release of it on video, and it was released as Zombie 2, and everybody thought it was a sequel to this movie. It is not. It is the same movie. And this caused a lot of confusion and aggravation amongst other people. But I digress. Basically, our story opens up in the harbor in New York, where a boat is abandoned. Well, actually, it opens up on an island, but it's kind of a prequel, a pre-story. The story kicks off in the harbor in New York, where there's an abandoned boat, and the cops are searching it. And there's some Walking Dead on there. They have to bring the boat into harbor, and as they examine the dead people that are on there in the morgue, that body starts coming back to life, and so on and so forth, and it spreads. So they have to go back to the island where it started, trace it back, and find out what's going on there. And this is where they're treated to visions of the Walking Dead, and to me the cinematography on it was just very stunning, very chill. I liked it. Also, another interesting thing about Zombie, because, and I've never been told this is my own assumption, but because it was an unofficial sequel to Dawn of the Dead, the original Dawn of the Dead, in the remake of Dawn of the Dead, this movie receives a couple of nods. If you remember, at the end, they take off on a boat that looks very much like the boat. In my opinion, it looks very much like the boat that winds up back in the harbor in New York. Also, when they show up at that island, when they go to the island in the remake of Dawn of the Dead, the remake, it is the exact replica of the Isle de los Muertos, which is the island they go to in this movie. And when all the zombies start attacking at the end of Dawn of the Dead, I believe that's the same drum music that's in the beginning of this. So, yeah, there's a few nods there. As far as zombie movies go, it is probably one of my top 5 zombie movies. There's just something about the whole feel of this movie that really does it for me, that I can watch it and just totally get into it. I like the island feel that it has to it without being so, how can I say this? It's got that island feel without having that voodoo feel to it, even though there is some voodoo elements to it. A couple of standout scenes in there is probably the eye gouging scene where the zombie reaches through and pulls the girl's head back through, and there's a big piece of wood that jabs her in the eye. And more importantly is the underwater shark zombie battle. If you have not seen this, it is something to behold. It is really, really cool. The way they shot it is just incredible. I like that they incorporated a shark and a zombie together. The zombie just, so one of the things that they didn't really think about too much before, that zombies don't need to breathe, so why can't they be underwater? But yeah, the attack between him, the battle between him and the shark is just awesome. I don't know too many people who haven't seen this movie, but if you're one of the few who haven't, do check it out. Definitely watch it. And see if it doesn't become one of your favorite zombie movies as well. I just absolutely dig this movie to death. No pun intended. So, I guess that's it, guys. The alphabet of awesome movies, at least for me, Mr. Cinema Junkie, has come to a close. And who knows? Maybe in a few months, maybe at the beginning of next year, we can start it all over again. Maybe. I don't know. But it's been fun, guys. Thank you. Thanks for watching. And on behalf of everybody else who participated in the Alphabet of Awesome Movies, I bid you peace, and you all take care. Thanks.